those without chest to hawk their own beliefs, their own opinions, without care or concern for their own citizenry. For those without thought of any kind form of governance under which they fail to realize their own subjugation. For those who think there is no reason to fight, no reason to live, no reason to die. But here, take hold of known truths from foundations across decades and centuries past. So stay in, for here we face, here we seek, here we reveal the hills upon which we live, and upon which we die. Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Thank you very much for tuning in, staying subscribed, sharing, liking, doing all the good stuff. I'm yours truly, Daniel Barella. Hugs and kisses, mother effers. Today is January 14th of the year of our Lord, 2025. It is approximately 15:15 in the p.m. Waiting for the old lady to get home so we can get some dinner going. And while I was doing some of the intro so I could do the name thing that you guys just saw, I was watching the Pete Hegseth, questioning and whatnot, and I gotta tell you, man, the last episode we left off was on Adam and Eve, man, and the whole thing was not to worry about being in a position or having more or expecting more or thinking you're better than what you want or who you are. And that was the premise, and that was the premise of that story, that show, for that story, for that specific meaning. But I wanted to dig deep into that as we got sidetracked and I told you my story. And one of the things is, first and foremost, what we do differently here is we talk about counsel. We inject outside sources other than the Constitution, other than the Bill of Rights, other than the Declaration of Independence. And this is to ascertain a level of insight for my life. I haven't been perfect in my life. The art of following God, free from filth, is a life goal of mine. The life goal of mine is to hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." It's my job to do what I can, be as humble as I can. And that's hard because I forget on a daily basis, sentence by sentence, word by word, how to be humble. Because I've ascertained a level of influence in my life that I have become so bad as well. And I'm reverting back to my first love, which is God. And that's how I can love people more, children, wife, outside of flipping off the handle when things don't go my way or as expected or as planned or as fill in the blank. Having said that, let's get right into it. The last episode, again, we were talking about the Adam and Eve story, and I want to examine the sufficiency of the totality of our endowment, starting with God and Adam and Eve. His influence in their life gave them the instructions, eat all the freedoms of whatever, except just the level of obedience. Now, death for disobedience, That's set that aside. Now let's go to how they fell when they were listening to the enemy. When I say they, is what makes me think that the enemy went to Adam, the male, when it doesn't say that. Well, let's go directly to Jesus when he showed up. What did the enemy do? Boom. He met him head on a mountain. Wow, God. Hey, you God, boy, look. I don't know what I'm doing. Turn these loaves into bread because you're hungry. Dude been fasting 40 days, 40 nights. Cast yourself off the ledge and the angels will catch you lest your foot strikes the ground, as angels have been dispatched, as the Bible says, right? And he also told them, if you worship me, I will give you all the kingdoms of the world, all the nations of the world. So what makes you think he didn't go directly to Adam? It's not in there. Now, this is the part of extrapolation that we have to worry about, because this is what I'm doing. I'm extrapolating. I'm pulling out of thin air a concept of what may have happened. And this is where I'm not saying thus says the Lord says this, but let's just logically, reasonably think. He had to have gone. The enemy had to have gone to Adam and tempted him likewise. But dude was like, I'm busy. I got to name all these things. Like, what are you? Oh, you're the serpent. Boom. Boom. That just came out of my mouth. You're that. Get out of here. You're sneaky and whatever. Anyway, what does this have to do with Pete Hegseth? Well, first and foremost, let's just look at the disgusting, the vile, the vitriol, the slither and the tongue, the forked tongue that comes out of this moment as he is talking to old Mr. Hegseth, how disgusting he is about some of his dealings. Watch this.
I want to return to the incident that you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
I believe so.
And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated, and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime. That's your definition of cleared? You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're complete.
I am shocked that you would sit there doing all this jibber jabber, knowing who all of your colleagues are, knowing how people are, knowing some of the things you've probably have done. You know, it sickens me to have sinned in other areas of my life and then to point fingers at somebody as if I'm better than them. You know, that's another thing that aggravates me, just as a human being, man, just as a regular person. Oh, well, let's get into it. It's like, golly, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it gets good.
Completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared?
Senator,
how is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
Look at those people looking. Look at them women look behind them. You motherfucker. You downright low down, dirty shame. No hair combing, big head, square forehead, having more effort. You low down. If Los can kill that woman to his left, ooh. And guess what else? Look how filthy the judgment is. Look how direct and asinine and without care of fellow man, without concern of fellow man. Look how fucking nasty this kid is. Watch.
And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
You're stupid.
Those were false charges.
Well,
It was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage I have to this amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017. You said it was.
Get off my phone, you jerk! How dare you? That's Mark Levin right there. Have the gall, have the vitriol, have no shame, have you no shame? Oh, but yes, here I is. I sit on this death. I sit up on a throne on high. By the way, I think I need to get another chair, a black one, like the one he's sitting on. That way I can feel deserving enough to point my finger at another man and say, you don't qualify because you did this or you did that. Well, why? Well, what about the other people? It's like, if that was a Republican or any, I don't care who it is. I don't even know. It doesn't even have a RD. I just know you're a piece of shit for talking to another man like that. Now, if that was a Democrat, that was a lady. Hey. Huh?
You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything,
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
again,
How do you explain your
completely
judgment?
false charges against me,
You
fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now,
Disgusting.
if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
If it had been a sexual assault,
Look at how he is just keeping his composure. You know, this man has killed. Okay? He knows what it feels like when his adversary's life leaves his eyes into the forever abyss to his 72 virgin wives. He knows what it looks like. He knows what it feels like. And how dare you attack? Even if he was justified in it, you want to kick another man like that? These are the people that we have in office. This is pathetic, man. This is pathetic. Right, left, we don't need that spirit. The scorpion spirit behind it. Thinking, oh, you're going to tell me something, that I don't know? Man, look. And you're going to think that I am going to dissuade my opinion about a man, whether he's this way or that way? I mean, dude, he's going to run the Pentagon. What does it have to do with sleeping behind your wife? I get it that the frailty of one man's convictions are subservient to a level of character. Man, but war's war, bro. You just kill people. You're not here to mitigate your family life. You're here to mitigate waste, fraud, and abuse. How is that? And how all the spending? And how is it? Man, look, and this piece of shit.
that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
So
Just
you
talking
can't,
about a hypothetical.
so you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being.
You wouldn't either.
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge
And
you
it was
cheat, but you
fully
acknowledge
investigated.
that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
Disgusting.
I will allow your words to speak for
You're
themselves.
not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your wife. You've taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming to
But
be.
no, I just asked a simple question.
Get off my phone, you jerk! Pathetic. Disgusting. Heartbreaking. Ugly. Ugly spirit. So just know that when you are given a task such as Adam and Eve, there will be, doesn't matter what you do, in any form area of your work. Look, let somebody find some joy and solace in knowing that I got your back, man. There will always be brown nosers. There will always be whiners and complainers. There'll always be the lazy people. There'll always be the person to say, hey, you make us look bad. You do too much. You got to slow down a little bit. You got to, hey, that spirit behind that, you know, it is not in your best interest. So what you got to do is be like Pete Hegseth. I don't know if I said it in the last one, but if you read Lee Strobel's book, A Case for Christ, he, through the years of investigation, had documented too much evidence confirming the accounts of Christ's resurrection. If it is true, I must adhere to the first prophecies about Christ's existence before the world was, as exculpatory evidence to the fact of the reality of his being, releasing my skepticisms in any form or fashion pertaining to the absolution of the Godhead, that is, in his authority, might, power, as creator. Therefore, any law, creed, and or suggestion handed through his spirit to whomever he chooses must be accepted as truth. It is foolish, in my opinion, to have been an eyewitness to his intervention firsthand and to repudiate it as invalid, the happenstance, coincidence, or magic as, it's unacceptable. Might I add, is blasphemable to the Holy Spirit, which may draw a charge of unforgivable. So, why the Adam and Eve story? Well, it goes to the beginning of your story. You got to go back, man, and see where you went wrong. I got to go back and see where I went wrong. And I told you the last thing is I was idle, I was stagnant. And if you are in any shape of unpreparedness, any shape of weakness, as in not filled in the spirit, not read up, you don't know what the book or God says about you through the word, you would fly off the handle. Because if that talked to me about anything like that, I was like, who the are you, dog? So you know what? I don't need this job, bro. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for everybody. But I don't need everybody. That's why Pete Hegseth is the man to do it, because I would have been like, you, everything you stand for, all that you're worth. There's a song, man, Pantera, that we play. And it goes, the world for all it's worth, every inch of planet Earth. And then it goes down. For every second, a pathetic being that pisses on me and judges what I am in one paragraph. Look here, you all. You see why I need Jesus. Because I said the word, but you heard the bleep. We'll be right back after these quick and important messages.
Are you tired of women? Fed up of their girly ways? Not sexually attracted to them? We have the solution for you. Try being gay. Being gay is an excellent way to remain sexually active while not involving the opposite sex. Doctors recommend being gay for anyone who is not straight. If you are a man under or over the age of 60 and have never or no longer desire shoving your stuff into a muff, then being gay is just what you need. If your penis remains mushy around the if down goes the lever when you see the beaver, give us a call. This guy's not gay.
Hey, baby,
Do you want to be like him?
you want some of this?
I didn't think so. Be gay today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Going forward, speaking about being gay, we are going to see a clip of Pam Bondi's confirmation hearing as Attorney General. And I don't know who this vato is, but this dude's from California. Of course, senator, but he's representing those people allegedly. And, I know a bitch when I see one. And, one thing that I've learned as a young man is you don't argue with children and you don't argue with women. Now, you can try to get a point across or make it seem like there's something significant that you need to explain. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say. Even if you have valid points, even if you have concise and crisp and clear instruction as to how to get anything accomplished or what to do, or heck, even go out to eat somewhere, a simple decision or whatever. At the end of the day, you just don't argue. You don't argue with the women's. So when you are a man and you are powerful and you have a position in power and or authority, one of the things that you want to do is assert your authority, assert a level of dominance, and we know you have it. Why act like a bitch in the midst of it? So I want to cover this thing and let it be an instructional guide to the young man who does not know how to communicate, who is not aware of his tone, who is not. Now, I get it. We fly off the handle. We get angry and stuff like it. Oh, she had sex with your brother, or oh, she deleted your, game player guy when you have thousands of dollars invested in it. It's irrelevant to anything in the whole entire world, but that's your accomplishments and that's something you love and you enjoy. I get you getting frustrated and angry and all that stuff, but look, listen, this is how stupid and all the, excuse my language, faggotry going on with this motherfucker right here. This is what you don't do. Here we go.
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have the evidence, yes or no?
I traveled, Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay. You're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election, yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or no?
I didn't talk about California.
He beats his wife or his husband. Again, the vitriol. Have you no shame? You're sitting here talking to a woman before the world, highly qualified, high-class woman of prowess, accomplishment, power, dignity, resolve. And here you are representing a people. They might like it, but then again, you know what? They might not. And even, again, don't know what this dude is or what his deal is, Republican or Democrat. I'll be ashamed to say, oh, I voted for that guy. Like, man, again, you.
Yeah, because I was not in California. I talked about.
Yes or no?
I talked about.
That's when he backhanded his wife with the bottle of tequila in his hand. This wetback masculine motherfucker.
Pennsylvania because
Mr.
I
Chair,
was there.
I'm going to move on because you're clearly not answering my questions. And I want to know, colleagues, for everybody, members of the committee and everybody watching, that the attorney who stood beside Mr. Giuliani was making very similar statements. And he has since been disbarred from multiple jurisdictions for making these false claims about the 2020 election in court.
Again, another witch hunt. Of course, there is evidence, but he wouldn't even accept it then. At the same time, like, this is a hearing. You're not here to perjure yourself. This is supposed to be a civil thing here. Highly qualified, class, Prestige. So yeah, man, this Mohawk drinks tequila and backhands his old lady.
And like Mr. Giuliani, as you've noted today, you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution just as an attorney. And now you're asking us to consider you to serve as the chief law enforcement officer in our country? So it's imperative.
She's not asking you to consider. She's been nominated, and now she's like, all right, I'm here. I've been asked. I have been asked of. What the fuck are you talking about?
Ms. Bondi, that you subscribe to facts and evidence and not politically convenient conspiracy theories. Your job will be, I'm speaking, your job will be to protect voters and election.
I got to go back to what he was saying, you know, when he starts addressing the chair, the head chair, which is little Dick Durbin. Now he goes, and then we go back and this and that, and, you know, just for the record, like, again, faggotry. Not that I have anything against the gays. You know, like, I love the gays. I got the gays. I've been got the gays. That doesn't mean I am gay, obviously, but, you know, I've been got it. Fuck.
Workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election.
It's not a big lie, bro. How can this dude been elected with what? 80 million votes or whatever, and every Democrat ever in the whole entire world, the max threshold was 76. And even now, this past one that happened was, what, 72 or whatever. It was way below the threshold. But dude got 80, 82 or whatever it was, million. I mean, this is...
Then we'll move on to a different topic.
Senator, you were speaking. May I speak? You cut me off when I was speaking.
When I ask you the next question, you can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd like to answer the previous one, Senator.
When we met yesterday,
you pointed your finger at me and said you were speaking. Let me answer my question. I'm not going to be bullied by you, Senator.
The 14th Amendment of
That is power. That is righteousness. That is justice. That is somebody standing up for themselves. And, you know, I think they do a good job, given their track record, upholding justice and the law and standing up for the little people not midgets, but the people who aren't in those positions, who don't have a voice for themselves, who don't have means to have justice on and that's what it's for. Somebody has been affected by a grievous atrocity by another, and what they do is they prosecute against it. You know, they uphold the law, justice, and earlier she talked a lot about fighting gang activity and fentanyl and all this stuff in Florida. And so having crime come down, those things are what they do to uphold and protect people. And here this guy is trying to bash her because he's a bitch.
The United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you didn't want to hear my answer about Pennsylvania.
After I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me in this committee what the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your question.
So the 14th Amendment, we can go in and read it, but it talks about citizenry, and one of the things why I like to... let me take a sidetrack, man. You guys got to listen to the Shawn Ryan Show and the Mark Levin Show. Those are two main things that you guys got to watch. Mark Levin talks a lot about everything on law. And the 14th Amendment, right at the top of the head, is being born and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. But you know what? Let's go read the 14th Amendment real quick. This is the 14th Amendment. We'll do the homework because this is why we're here. Because who really knows what the 14th Amendment is? Right? We've studied it in high school, but we haven't gone that much further. Oh, by the way, Ed Meese, boom. Y'all got to get this, man. It talks about originalism, that Ed Meese was the first badass who basically tried to instill a spirit of originalism, honing in office, your disposition being that of an originalist, basically like the old guys, as far as the letter of the law, not so much being a live and living document, but taking it for what it actually means, and not wish-washing it, not trying to extrapolate like I did earlier, just saying, look, this is what it means and this is how we govern ourselves. So the 14th Amendment is this, Section 1. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or deny to any person within the jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So that's the language. That's what the term is, nomenclature. That's what it is. So when we go forward, we're going to be talking about due process, persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And this is why I watched the Mark Levin show, because he talks a lot about what subject to the jurisdiction thereof means. These people coming over aren't subject to the jurisdiction. How do we know? Well, there's Mexican flags flying. So if you come over and you put up a Mexican flag over the American flag, which happens a lot here in Texas, by the way, especially out there in the Monte. Hey, that's your private property, that's your land, you have the right to do that. But that instills a certain visual, like you get baptized, right? You're telling the whole world, oh, I'm a believer in Jesus. So you put a Mexican flag over, you're saying this is the jurisdiction under which I subjugate myself. And subject to the jurisdiction thereof, does that mean that you're yet not a citizen? Well, paperwork, yes, but of heart, no. And that's the point. That's pretty much the whole point why we're doing this whole thing to begin with. Because Palestine, Israel, that whole conflict was like, why could you have a two-state? Well, because you can't have a two-state, because the jurisdiction of this portion of land that was attributed to and I'm going to go back all the way to old school Egypt. I'm going to go back all the way over there. We had a discussion, Lovell Levante, Adam Smith, Junior Jackson, the third McCassell, and I, about when I think it was January 6th, when the atrocities happened, when Hamas attacked Israel at the fairground or whatever, the festival they were having. And so we had a discussion about that. But you know what? That portion of land is the jurisdiction of Israel, the people of Israel. So I don't believe in the two-state solution. I don't believe that they belong there. The Palestinians or the Philistines or the Perizzites, Jebusites, Levites, Canaanites, whoever they are, they don't belong there. It's not their land. In the story. Get the fuck out. Because you are not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Now, that's Israel's laws and different things, but you see where I'm going with it? I'm trying to make a sound argument about you being subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It's just that simple. And if you don't qualify yourself, if you don't subjugate yourself under the laws of that land, then you're technically not a citizen therein. You're not acting like it, and this motherfucker ain't even acting like a senator. And here, because fuckheads like him, this little bitch boy bastard wants to put his little puta high heels on and argue with the woman like, dude, you're a fucking bitch. So that's what the 14th Amendment is. And here he's asking a seasoned attorney general. Because she was Attorney General of Florida, but anyway.
Questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as Attorney General... You're the one
asking for a confirmation
hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor.
See, that's what I'm talking about, the land, the living. Where did we read birthright? in this. We didn't. And that's what originalism is. Okay, all persons born, okay, or naturalized, okay. But that doesn't mean just because you're born, that means that is your right in the United States. So everybody who is born doesn't mean, well, no. It's like, and again, Mark Levin talks about it too. If you're visiting on vacation and you happen to be pregnant and born on the land, that doesn't mean you're automatically a citizen. You guys are going to go back to wherever you came from wherever you visited. And you're not a citizen. Just because you're born doesn't mean you are. Stuff like that. Watch the Mark Levin show. He explains it a lot better. And I'm just barely trying to get a grasp on it. And but I know you haven't read this in decades. So let's talk about no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
So on the 14th Amendment, now you've testified repeatedly to this committee that you will uphold the laws of this country and defend the Constitution of the United States. Do you believe birthright citizenship is the law of the land, and will you defend it regardless of a child born in the United States, regardless of their parents' immigration status?
Senator, I will study birthright citizenship. I would love to meet with you regarding birthright citizenship. Can I answer the
serve
question?
as the Attorney General of the United States, and you still need to study the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? That is not helping me have more confidence in your ability to do this job. One other immigration-related question. I'll steer clear of the Constitution
I have one
and the
regarding
law.
that I'd like
Senator
to talk about.
Harona asked you earlier, but I don't think you answered her question. Can you please
Crazy
tell us,
Maisie, y'all gotta watch that bitch. She's
immigrants
stupid.
are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, yes or no?
I did not say that.
I did not say that you said that. I'm asking if you agree with it, yes or no?
I did not say that.
Do you agree with it, yes or
Senator,
no?
my great-grandparents are immigrants.
Do you agree with it,
They
yes or no?
came here from...
You know, just this badgering and this abuse back and forth. It's like he just, anyway, it's pissing me off, man. Because for one, even if I don't like you, you know, you just move on, man. You ask the questions like, okay, you're not going to answer it. You know, okay, this and that. But to talk down and directly point your finger at somebody and as if they're your child. It's an atrocity. It's a misrepresentation of a good people, because that is not a good person. And he's a bitch, and he probably beats his wife. Sorry, lady. Anyway, so you know, one of the things that, in conclusion, you know, seeking power. It's only found in humbleness and humility. It's only found in temperance and withhold of anger. Aggression is never a good thing. Because if you want to display a level of aggression, that just shows your weakness and your spinelessness, thinking that aggression can get somebody somewhere. You can't get anywhere with aggression unless you're willing to go all the way, and that's what war is about. And sometimes aggression is necessary, but in settings like this, come on. What about the right? Well, when we get there, we'll get there. How about that? How about that? We ain't there in the show yet, and whatever. Somebody finds this ever. Right now, it is the 17th. I can't remember. I think it's the 17th of the year of our Lord, 2025, January. So I did 2 parts. That's why, you know. Well, let's go back. Let's go back and forth with it. You know, and whatever, we'll have at it. And if I don't know something, hey, I'll secede and I'll do my homework, because that's what we do. We barely get in, but I'm not going to show no aggression, because there's no need for it. There's no need to argue a point when the other side isn't receptive. There's a thing they say, yes and. So when we are having a debate, or you're talking, or you're trying to make jokes, or you're trying to write about something, or you're trying to get together to find a common ground, the common theme is yes and. If you make a suggestion, I'll say yes and instead of no, not. And then next, Mike would. You're cutting off the flow. That means your ideas and your response is invalid. So you say yes and. So that's what I'm going to do. So, and I notice that about people. If I say something, or if I lay something down, and it's automatically no, and or completely either repudiate a suggestion, not even mine, maybe a conversation involving two other people. A is trying to get the point across. B has heard and tries to, and then A doesn't even respond or doesn't yes and B's thing. I take notice of that, and after a while, it's like, okay, well, then why communicate? Why argue? Why discuss? That is a lesson in communication in marriage that helps a lot too. Yes and. And notice that when you're not receiving the yes and, when it's not being reciprocated to you, when you're lending your ideas as you yes and your spouse, that's a good one. Take note of that. Don't be afraid. At the same time, know when it's just irrelevant to lay out a thought. They say don't cast your pearls before the swine, as they say, huh? And your thoughts, your ideas, and your constructive strategies, are value. And if somebody's just completely repudiating and castigating off, or just ignoring just so they can get their thought in, then should you say much? Should you just yes and one ear out the other, or whatever? That's a lot of marriage as well. I say that to say this. Man, in the next coming weeks, we're going to see a lot of changes. We're going to see a lot what's happening with the law in the land, with the illegals, the drug running, and what do they call it, the fentanyl, the human trafficking is a big issue with the illegal immigration and stuff. We're gonna track this down, man, and we're gonna learn at the same time. So for sure that just because I have 1,000 books open in front of me, you can't even see it anyway. But it doesn't mean anything. You ain't reading it. It doesn't mean anything if you're not going and doing the studying. So I want to give you guys a breakdown of my day. And I'll do that tomorrow or the next way. We'll continue on with the breakdown of my day, what it looks like and what I do and how I'm sponging the wealth of knowledge that's out there for all of us to have now. So if you have any prayer requests, concerns, shoot me a DM, man, and we'll pray, man. God bless. God bless America. God bless you. And I fucking love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.